Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to show you how to make this shaker card. This shaker card is actually quite flat, so it will easily go in an envelope. So this is the number 2 in my series of shaker cards. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to make shaker cards. The first one, if you missed it, was more traditional with foam tape, and you can certainly find that on my YouTube channel. But this one is more masculine, and it's actually see-through. So as you see, you kind of open it up, and this is a picture in the background, and I used some designer series paper for that. It says celebrating you today, and then you open it again, and it's grateful for you all year long. So I thought this lent itself to a nice masculine card. Actually, somebody suggested, I asked for suggestions for card classes, and they said, oh, how about a masculine card? And I thought, oh, it's a little trickier to make a masculine card, which is a shaker, because I think of that as a more feminine element, but I think it's really a fun element. So I'm glad that she challenged me that way, and I think it turned out really cute. So I'm going to show you how to make it. And obviously you can use whatever materials you have in your stash to create this card. I am using the sentiments are from the Beside Me stamp set. It's got some great sentiments for dads, but it's also just kind of generic, right? Celebrating you today, grateful for you all year long. You could add a happy birthday, as I did here. The happy birthday is actually the wanted to say dies, and I used the adhesive sheets. I'm going to show you how to attach the adhesive sheets and cut that out, in case that's something that you haven't haven't done before. So there's quite a bit going on here today, but I hope that you enjoy the video. Let's go ahead and get started. Set that aside, and we made this card in my card class. So for those of you that ordered the kit, this is what you will get in your card kit. Of course, they always come in an envelope, but you will have a card base, which is just a standard card base. It is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches. It is vertical. So let's see, where's my bone folder? So of course the first thing to do is to fold and burnish, especially this card, because it is going to end up being kind of thick. And I'm going to set that aside. And then we have a second piece of basic white, and this one is 8 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to fold that like that. And then we've got, this piece is actually going to go on the inside like this. So this is 5 1/4 by 4. This is Misty Moonlight. And then there's a piece of designer series paper, and you can use either side of the designer series paper. This is part of the Country Homes, let me think here, Country Woods. And you can see there are a lot of woodsy kind of patterns here. It's part of the Country Woods suite. So lots of different options here for papers, all very woodland-ish. So I thought, again, okay, masculine card, that lends itself to a masculine card. So then I have another piece of Misty Moonlight. That's going to layer here. So let's see. So that was 8 by 4. So this is going to be, excuse me, not 8 by 4. This was, what did I say? It was 4 and 4. So it would be, yeah, that is 4, but this is 8. So this would be 4 and, oh dear, where's my ruler? I don't remember what size that one is, and I don't have it in front of me. Here we go. So this piece is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. That's what this one is. Yep, 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Okay. Sometimes my brain just doesn't work that quickly. And then here's another layer. This is going to go on the inside, and this one is 3 by 4 1/4. This is part of another designer series paper. This one is the Thoughtful Journey designer series paper. It's got many different scenes, and they lend themselves to a nice colorful background. So I just chose one that I thought worked well. I wanted you to be able to see through it, but you can see how gorgeous, number one, the colors are, and give you a lot of options. You could do something kind of winterish, you could do summery, just lot of options. So that's what this one is from. That's the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. And then I have 2 pieces of acetate, and these, they don't need to be exactly this size, but pretty close to it. So this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And if you saw my last video, you have already seen this, but I'm gonna, in case you haven't seen it, I'm gonna show you. Stampin' Up! Does sell acetate sheets in 12 by 12, and that is certainly an option. But another option is if you get a photopolymer stamp set, they always come in these sheets, and there's one plastic sheet that is really thin, and the other one is really thick. So what I do when I after I use them for the first time, you can see I haven't used this one yet, I take the stamps off and I put them in my stamp case, and then I use the thinner sheet to go on top of that. And then I can use this thicker sheet in my cards. So, in my shaker cards. So I save those thicker sheets after I take them out, after I put my stamp set away. I save those thicker sheets, and then I just clean them. They will have some marks on them from the stamps themselves. I just clean it with the same things that I use to clean my glasses. So just the glass cleaner, not like Windex, but eyeglass cleaner. Because the Windex, I think, is going to damage the acetate because it's made for glass. So you definitely want something that's made for like plexiglass. So 2 sheets there, and then I have a sheet of paper that we're going to use for the happy birthday. So let's go ahead and get started. I usually like to start with the stamping. There isn't a lot of stamping in this, but there's a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Let me think here. So I need my inside, and I need the smaller piece here. So the Celebrate You Today, you're gonna, let's see. I'm gonna put this here so you can see it, right? So this is what we're using, this piece here, this smaller folded piece of basic white. We're gonna stamp the inside of that, and I'm using the Grateful for You all year long. I'm bringing in the Misty Moonlight, and I like the cling stamps because you can see if you've got a really good image. And there you go. Set that aside. And then, as you can see here, we're going to stamp in the lower corner. And what I wanted to show you is you want it to be down low because you don't want to see it in the opening. So you're going to stamp in the lower right-hand corner, whatever your sentiment is. And you could certainly wait until the card is assembled to do it. I tend to like to do it before it's assembled because if I mess it up, I can just get a new piece of paper. Once I attach it, it makes it a little harder. So that's why I do it that way. I'm going to send that one aside. And then I also want to decorate the envelope, and I used the image from the Quiet Reflection stamp set. I thought it lent itself to this card because it's a nice neutral image. So this is the one I'm using. Now this stamp can be a little tricky. The lighter side is upright, okay? And I'm gonna just stamp it in the corner. And I like to put the stamp down on the block and then add my ink to it so that I can see where it's going to be. This is a distinctive stamp, so that means it's going to be kind of have like an uneven kind of a surface. But if you kind of if you really missed a spot, like right there, I think I kind of missed a spot. I can see that. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to just take this in this corner. Hold it. Give it a minute to absorb. All right, that turned out very well. I was having a little bit of trouble with that stamp earlier, and I found that by doing it that way, putting the ink down and putting the stamp on top of it, it really helped a lot. So that is all of the stamping that we have to do. Next is going to be some die cutting. So let's get ready for the die cutting. So this is the piece of white. I want to die cut the happy birthday. I've just got this scrap piece of white, and I just made sure it was big enough that my die would fit under it. Now this die set, I should show you, it actually comes with a like a background die and so like here, this I did it to feel better. So you see the white part, and then there's a background. So the happy birthday, you want to make sure you get the one that is these two are going to nest together, but you want the one that you can really see all the letters of the words. This is going to be the background for the happy birthday, but we are not using that today. But I wanted you to see that. So that's the one we need. And before I attach that, I'm going to put some of the adhesive sheets on it. So the adhesive sheets come in a package like this. They're 6 by 12, and there are 12 sheets in here, and they have like perforations there. So there's a front and a back side. That won't matter which one you put on. But what I did was I went ahead and cut it to be pretty close to the size that I need. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off one side. See, I've still got the sticky back on the other side, and then I'm going to line up the side that's peeled off, and then go in and peel the second side off. Just makes it a little bit easier for me to work with. And then when I go to die cut it, you want to die cut it on the side of the paper. I can't tell you why, I don't know why, but so many times I forget and I die cut on the side of the sticky stuff. So don't do that. Don't make that same mistake. I'm here. I make the mistakes for you so that you don't have to make them, okay? All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring this in here. I don't have a lot of room here. So this is just the standard sandwich for die cutting. Oops, like that. And again, this is the paper side up, and I'm just kind of centering that. And bring in my next plate. And you know, if you're watching this pretty timely, the month of June, our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines are an additional 10% off. So that's a pretty good deal. Okay, good. I can look at it and see that it went through no problem. So let me set that aside and move this off to the side because I need to do a little more prep for the next bit of stamping that we're going to need to do. So I think it would be helpful for you to see that there, to see what I'm going to do. So I've got the card base, and let me see, do I want to use that side? Or do I want to use that side? I think I'm going to use that side. I'm going to bring in the die. So this is one of the Nested Essentials dies. You see it's got these kind of rounded corners. And that's where I'm going to want to cut through. And I'm going to want to cut through both layers, the front and the back. So I'm not going to adhere this together at the same time yet, because I need to have my acetate in there. But I am going to cut them both together. Let me set that aside. So I think I didn't find it to be difficult, but to keep them together and lined up the way I wanted them. But you do have to kind of watch two things when you send this through. So number one, I want to watch that my paper is centered on the cardstock, right? My Designer Series paper is centered. And then that this is kind of, I've got it a little bit higher on the top than the bottom, but it's pretty close side to side. And I did not find it difficult to keep that in place. I set this down gently, and then I press down with my hand to hold it as I run it through the die cut machine. Now, because it is going through 2 sheets of paper, I am going to run it through twice. You might find that you need to put a shim in your sandwich. Let's see. Oh no, it went through. Okay. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you find that it was not going through, take an extra sheet of cardstock and put it in between your plate 1 and 2 to create like a shim, a little more thickness, and then run it through and see if that works for you. All right, that's the end of our die cutting. So I'm going to set that baby aside. And now we get ready with our acetate. So we're going to bring in this piece. We don't need the blue. Now we're going to create our sandwich. Okay, so remember, this is the way our card is going to go. We're going to put one here, and then another one is going to go here, and then we're going to attach them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm using tear and tape for this, and I am just going to put the tear and tape on. For this piece, I can just put it on the acetate. Oh, that's the end of that roll. Okay, start a new one. I knew it was coming to the end, so I was prepared with another one. So basically just running this around all the way around that side. So you could certainly speed through this if you don't want to watch this tedious part of the show. But I could also use the time to tell you that if you are in the Greensboro area and you would like to do an in-person class, I'd love to have you join me at my class. You can sign up for my newsletter and find out when I hold classes. You can also go to my website or my Facebook page, and I list the events there, and you can get in touch with me there to see if you'd like to come. I'm in the Lake Oconee region in Georgia. I also offer the class as kits. So if you see a class that I advertise and you think, oh man, I'd really like to know how to make that, feel free to contact me before the class and I will create a kit for you. I can send it out to you, and then I'll send you the videos so that you can make the cards on your own. Okay, there we go. All right, so now this just needs to be, I just don't want to see the tape anywhere, right? And I'm going to go ahead and burnish it like that. And now we're going to put, I'm debating on how do I want to do this. I think I want to just do it this way. So I have 2 options, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put tape on this one as well. No, I'm going to put tape on here because I want it to be really close to the edges so that my sequins don't get lost in the edges of the card. I don't think it matters if that they need to be right rounded. I think it's fine if you want to do that, but I don't think it's critical that you do that. But they do need to meet. Like I did not meet there, so I am going to, and that one too it didn't really meet very well. I'm going to raise that up, raise that one up, and put another little piece in that corner. There we go. And I think I need to do the same here, so I can go ahead and take that off. My nails work pretty well. If yours don't, your take your pick tool will work just as well. So I'm going to do a little corner here. The other corners I managed to get fine, but this one I did not. So You do want to try and keep your fingers, you know, not to get any fingerprints on your acetate as best you can. You've got one of the advantages of making it a little bit bigger than your opening is that you can hold the corners. Okay, so I've got all the adhesive on there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my other piece on, but before I do that, I have to put my gems in. So I have these champagne iridescent dots. These are in the current catalog, and I'm using a little spoon, but you could just spill them in there. That. Don't need too many because I do have that, I'm going to have that background showing through. And then this is, these are retired, but I really liked the color. I thought the color went really well with the Misty Moonlight. And it was a set of 3 that came in the fall catalog in 2023, the fall mini catalog. So you might still have those. But you know, you can get gems just about anywhere. You know, any of the craft stores. The trick, of course, is getting them in the right color. I kind of was afraid I was going to run out, so I went to Hobby Lobby and tried to get some, and you know, it was really tricky trying to find the right colors. That's one of the things I love about Stampin' Up, you know, is that pretty much the colors all, you know, work really well. They all coordinate. You don't have to really think too hard about it. You know, everything's going to work together. So, you know, that is why I love Stampin' Up. All right, I'm just going through and making sure that these are not sticking. Of course, every time I touch it, it pops up. Sometimes they're full of static, but okay, I just don't want them to stick to the adhesive. All right, and then I'm just gonna take my other piece of adhesive, of acetate, not adhesive, acetate, and put it on top. And you'll get a little bit of a bubble. That's okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, make sure it's good, and you know that. Make sure it's really burnished well. Did I not take, you know what? I don't think I took the backing off of this one. Nope, that's a problem, isn't it? Okay, here we go. Not to worry, it's not too late. You could also, well, you could kind of just do the 3 sides and leave the top open, but I think it works better. There we go. That was the only problem there, was because I hadn't taken the backing off of that one. So there you go. So they're pretty flat, but they do still move. So fun. All right, and now this is just gonna go right on top. So I typically like to use liquid glue, but because this is acetate, I think I'm gonna go ahead and use the tear and tape as well. I do want it to be fairly close to the edge, so I don't know why. It probably doesn't really matter that much because they're not like gonna pop out or anything. But I think it'll just give it a little neater appearance. And then up at the top. So I've got one more of these shaker cards for you to do, and the last one's gonna be the easiest of all. This is still a little involved, you know, you've gotta have the acetate, you've gotta have the tape, but of course it's really nice because it really can go very easily through the mail. But you know, if you don't have gems, you could always just die cut some elements, flowers or circles or shapes, or you know, you could just die cut them. They'd be really flat. You could die cut them out of cardstock or out of colored, you know, designer series paper, patterned paper, and that would work really well too, especially if you were going to do a masculine card and you didn't want anything too shiny. That would be a great option. And we do have several stamp sets or dies and punches that just cut out small shapes. So definitely keep that in mind. As a matter of fact, I'll show you one of the other things we did was a tag, and I don't plan to do a video of it, but I will show you at the end because I just used some die cuts in it as well. in addition to some of the sequins, because I didn't have the sequins in the right colors that I wanted. So, you know, being able to cut something out of cardstock in the right color just makes, you know, makes it easier, right? Because I like it when the colors coordinate. Although sometimes, you know, you get some colors, put them together and you think, wow, I would have never thought that that went well together, but they do. All right, here we go. So now I'm kind of holding it up a little bit, the sides. That's the only thing about the tear and tape that I find a challenge, is once you put it down, it's down. So I'm looking at the top of my card and the bottom to see that it's straight. So yeah, I was looking at this part and this part to see if it was lined up, and it is. Okay, so now we just make the inside of our card, which is pretty straightforward. Let's see, where did I put it? Oh, where did I put all the pieces? All right, so the larger piece of Misty Moonlight is just gonna go on the card base. I just felt I wanted to get that color in there. And then this is gonna go next. I'm gonna fold it so that I can see. Just try to center it on that Misty Moonlight. I don't know about you guys, but you know, now that I have three sons, of course, and a husband, and you know, they know now, of course, that I'm making these cards, so the expectations, you know, have kind of risen, right? They don't want just any old card anymore. They would have, of course, years ago been perfectly happy with just about anything as long as it had, you know, a check in it or cash, but now they want to see a nice card too. So this kind of elevates the card a little bit for somebody special, and it certainly doesn't have to only go to a guy, that's for sure. I think anybody would really enjoy this card. There you go. That's it. Oh, no, it's not, is it? Happy birthday. All right. So I wanted something kind of see-through. That was why I decided to do this happy birthday, because you can see through it, right? And you could see through the window. I didn't want to cover up all the gems. So I thought this was perfect. So I'm just going to take these letters out of here. Okay. And remember, I've got the tape on the back, the adhesive sheets. And usually all the little bits come out with the adhesive sheets. We'll see if that happens. You do have to be very gentle when you're taking it off so that you don't tear it. It wouldn't be the end of the world if it did tear, because you know, you just put it down together since it's all sticky. I like to use my scissors or my tweezers, my reverse tweezers, and I'm gonna just set that down like that, and it will stick. And then the same thing with the happy. And I debated on putting some gems on the outside, but I thought, you know what, I just didn't want anything to detract from I just didn't think it needed it, right? From the little bits inside. I thought those are really cute. Okay, there we go. And now I'll just put the happy right up there. Now we're finished. Happy birthday, celebrating you today, grateful for you all year long. I think that one's gonna go to my husband. Oh, if you like what you saw today and you'd like to see more and be notified of when I do more videos, I am gonna do one more video. Oh, and I was gonna show you that tag that I did. I am going to do one more video, show you one more way to do a shaker card. And if you want to be notified, subscribe to my channel, either my Facebook page or my YouTube channel. And then here, I did this as a little tag, just cut out all the pieces, and it's got using the foam tape. So it's the method in the first video, which is the traditional kind of shaker card look. So that's the technique. And then can you see these little flowers in there, those are just die cuts. And then I've just got a few little sequins that are in there. And I thought, isn't that cute? So simple. Oh, and I did emboss. I used the embossing folder. I think it's quilted embossing folder. And the paper, oh my gosh, I just love that paper. Frames and flowers. Isn't that cute? Isn't that pretty? So it's basically just the Frames and Flowers Designer Series paper. I just cut it out, and it comes with all those little, it actually comes with this comes as a part of the paper, but this was die cut from Petal Pink. So there you go. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Linda Edwards with Crafty Heron Designs, and I am here to encourage you to create your, do something creative today. Bye for now.